AI algorithm solves the mystery of California's enigmatic tiny earthquake swarm in the coastal volcanic field of Ridgecrest. Now, I'm going to read the article for you, but at the end I will tell you what it does not make any mention of, which is really an enigma in itself, which goes to show that we can't take for granted whatever any article writes for us to read. Now it says here, a succession of mysterious multiplying minor earthquakes have rumbled Southern California since 2016, since before the Ridgecrest 7.1 earthquake. Now, with most of these 22,000 tremblers too small to even be felt by humans, the source of this activity has puzzled scientists for years. Naturally circulating underground water was the source of a succession of tiny earthquakes that rumbled for 4 years underneath the Southern California town of Coahuila, claims a new seismological study published June 19 in the periodical Science. Now, according to authors of the report, it's entitled 3D Fault Architecture Controls the Dynamism of Earthquake Swarms. They utilized advanced methods of earthquake monitoring, resorting to a computer algorithm to recognize the faint rumbles and of the tremors, identifying their probable source and track how swarms such as this one spread through complex fault networks. Zachary Ross, the assistant professor of geophysics at California Institute of Technology, Caltech, who led the study, was quoted by Science Daily as saying, "We used to think of faults more in terms of two-dimensional, like giant cracks extending into the earth. What we're learning is that you really need to understand the fault in 3 dimensions to get a clear picture of why earthquake swarms occur." Now, according to the seismologist, seismic signals are constantly being recorded in tectonically active Southern California, and the database of these tremors was used by Ross and his colleagues from Caltech, the United States Geological Survey USGS, and the University of Texas at Austin to train computers to distinguish the ground movements of these minute earthquakes. Unlike main shock aftershock sequences of large earthquakes, in the case of minute swarms like the one studied, there's typically no single standout tremor. The millions of tiny quakes identified by the IT algorithm can be used as a study to create high-resolution 3D images of the underground area in a particular region. And this is the region we're talking about now. The Coahuila Swarm. Southern California swarm of earthquakes is a spate of minor tremblers that occurred between 2016 and 19 near Mount San Jacinto in Southern California. Intrigued to seek out the source of the activity, the team of seismologists used the above-mentioned quake detection algorithms with deep neutral networks to compile a detailed catalog of over 22,000 seismic events in the area, with tremors ranging in size and magnitude from 0.7 to 4.4. Now, once the work was completed, it shed light on a narrow 50-meter wide fault zone. It's about 150 feet wide fault zone with steep curves when viewed in profile. It was these curves, says Ross, that revealed the reason for several years of seismic activity in the region. The leading potential explanation for the swarm was underground circulation, or a slow slippage on an active fault known as a fault creep, says the study. A fault creep. A creeping fault, in other words. From data from the Coahuila swarm, believed to be winding down, quote unquote, also provided an insight into the evolution of the identified fault zone over time. Ross said, "You can see that the sequence of earthquakes originated from a region that's only on the order of tens of meters wide." The seismologist explained that in the course of 4 years, the region spread diffusely into an expanding front of earthquake epicenters at a rate of about a whopping 5 meters a day. It spread 15 feet a day. This process, the report claims, suggests that circulating groundwater is triggering the swarm. Okay, they're saying that the swarm is triggered by groundwater. Without spotting the actual fluids moving underground, nonetheless, the seismologists speculate that a reservoir of groundwater that previously had no access to the zone lies underneath the fault zone. Once the seal broke, the groundwater started seeping into one of the faults, triggering the original tremors. As for why the swarm is decreasing its activity, the report says the groundwater most likely came across a barrier it is unable to penetrate. The study has been hailed as not only showcasing how machine learning can help geologists probe the planet's subterranean realms, but leading seismologists' confidence to further apply the... Okay, so this is the Sputnik article that I read for you, having to do with Caltech's IT algorithm technology and how they say that this AI algorithm solved the mystery, saying it was a groundwater. But listen, this is the map of the area, and no one in the article ever mentions the fact that this is a volcanic field, that it has a geothermal plant because it's got magma underneath. They don't mention the fact that it is inflating because of the magma in there, and there's no mention of volcanic fields and volcanic areas whatsoever. There's no mention of a subduction zone, no mention that there's a mantle plume under there, that the magma is underneath the San Andreas Fault. It is also underneath this area of the Garlic Fault and the Walker Lane Fault System. The Walker Lane having all these high threat volcanoes that California has, including the very high threat volcano of the Long Valley Caldera supervolcano. So what do you think? I mean, are we supposed to take for granted that the AI algorithm, the IT algorithm, it has solved the mystery, saying that it's underground water, when we know that it has made no mention whatsoever in this article that it could be even a combination of magma and water, or maybe just magma, or maybe the IT was perhaps wrong. There is absolutely no mention of the fact that this is a volcanic area. Anyway, please tell me what you think. Thank you. This is a USGS map showing the red indicating the mantle plume, as you see, is coming from Baja California. It's like a Y shape. The western part goes under California, and the eastern part goes through Utah up into Yellowstone and then turns west into Idaho. And this is the location of Ridgecrest on the Garlic Fault at the Walker Lane Fault System, where we had the 7.1 magnitude earthquake back on July 5th. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.